to all you wonderful people, and welcome to the show, Emily Pereira.
Thank you for joining us today. Well, we would like to start off by asking you to introduce yourself. Just say what year you're in and your major.
So, my name is Emily Pereira. I am a junior and I'm a management major with a minor in marketing.
Now, as we've heard, you are a student ambassador here at Kean University, but what exactly do you do?
So, student ambassadors are essentially like the face of the college. So, like, we talk to students a lot, we talk to prospective students, we answer phone calls, we answer their emails, any questions they may have. We also host a lot of events like open houses, we do tours, we do Kean information sessions, things like that.
Wow, and exactly how long have you been doing this here at Kean Admissions? And what are some of the highlights of your time here at Kean?
So, actually, this is my first semester as a student ambassador. I started in the spring. I really liked the people I've met so far and just all the opportunities that being an ambassador was given to me. It was a great decision. I'm really happy to be an ambassador.
Okay, then what is something that you have learned while working in the department, and what is a skill that you have adapted in your everyday life?
I think one thing I definitely learned is how to improve my communication skills. We work with a lot of other student ambassadors. There's about like 30 of us. We work with the admissions counselors. So we're always interacting with people, and especially the students. We're always interacting with students. So it definitely helped me build my communication skills. And as a business major, that's extremely vital. So it's definitely helping me outside of work.
Definitely. Overall, if you had to sum up your experience working in admissions, what would you say?
I love it. I like talking to students. I'm pretty outgoing, so I like the aspect of that, being able to help students that I was once in their situation.
Gotcha.
And when I was first looking into Kean, I was super nervous. I didn't really know what to do and how to go about certain processes. So being able to help students get through that is definitely something I really enjoy.
That's super interesting. I mean, I'm definitely impressed. And I'm fairly certain that people watching this have taken a liking to you. If you want to apply to Kean admissions, what would you talk to them about, and how can you reach them?
Well, one way is definitely through our website, kean.edu. Under the admissions tab, we have a lot of resources for students. They can contact counselors, they can contact the main admissions line, which will direct them to a student ambassador so we can help them out. And or by email, we're always checking our emails constantly, daily, all the time. So that's definitely a way they can do that.
Well, then what are the benefits of working on campus, if there's any at all?
So as a student, we go through our day-to-day, right? We go to class, we go home, we go to our dorms, whatever it may be. But as a student worker, you kind of go behind the scenes. You kind of see how things are done that regular students wouldn't be able to see. So I think that's something really cool. It's a really great benefit to get to see the processes behind things that we might do on a normal basis, which I think is really cool.
Wow, let me backtrack just a little bit, and let me ask, what is the application and the hiring process like for you? What was it like?
So it was at Kean Day last fall. There was a table at Kean Day with the admissions office, and there were ambassadors there asking for people who would be interested to volunteer for an event or to even apply as an admissions student ambassador. So that's when I took the opportunity to apply.
Interesting. So what would you say that could potentially encourage other applicants into considering applying for Kean?
I'd tell them just do it, go for it. Yeah, just go for it. You might be a little nervous in the beginning, or you might not be sure about should I do it, should I not do it. Just go for it. You never know what doors you can open to applying and being accepted as a worker at Kean.
Something like the Nike slogan.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it.
You have been such a great guest, but before we go, we have one final question for you. What life advice would you give to other students who may be looking to follow in similar footsteps that you have at Kean?
Definitely get involved. In the beginning, I was kind of stuck to myself. I didn't really go out there to get involved. But I definitely recommend doing it. You get to meet so many different people, make connections, again, open doors to opportunities that you might not have done if you never put yourself out there.
Excellent advice, I have to say. I completely agree. And with that, this concludes our first segment of the show. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It. And of course, giving us your insight. We truly appreciate that.
Now that was Miss Emily Pereira. Don't go anywhere because up next we have an important message or important person coming to speak with us right after this break.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
What are you doing in there?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for? I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
What are you doing in there?
Please, like you all to divert your attention to this man next to me. Please welcome the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts, Mr. Jonathan, and pronounce your last name for me?
Mercantini.
Marcantini.
Well, Mr. Marcantini, it's an honor to have you here. Now, please tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been here at Kean.
Sure. So I've been at Kean since 2007, so going up on 15 years now. First as a history professor, I was later chair of the history department, and then for the last 6 years I've served as the acting dean of the College of Liberal Arts. So I oversee our programs in humanities, social sciences, and then also the fine and performing arts.
Very impressive.
It's a great job.
Yes. How do you think the admissions process has changed over the years for students?
I mean, the admissions process is so important because students are the reason why we're here, right? And students are the reason for what we do. And so, you know, the process has changed. We continue to get more and more diverse. We take a lot of pride in the fact that we are a Hispanic serving institution. Our Hispanic student population is up over 35% now, and we serve a number of other minority student populations as well. With first generation students, about 50% of our students are the first in their families to attend college, and we know that those students need additional support. They don't have always the networks and the kinds of adults in their lives that can tell them about the college process. So, you know, we offer all we have an open house coming up coming up this Saturday. On the 25th of March, we run a number of different events for prospective students, for accepted students. We know how beautiful our campus is, and so we know that if we can get them to campus, we have a pretty good chance that they're going to come be Kean Cougars.
Definitely. I definitely agree with that. In your eyes, what has always been the most difficult part of the process?
Oh, I don't, to me, I don't know that there's a difficult part of the process. It's quite honestly, it's reaching students. My personal frustration is where our students. I always feel like I'm one social media platform behind, right? So I was on Twitter. The students were never on Twitter. We went to Instagram. The students went to TikTok. My acting skills aren't good enough to be on TikTok all the time. So we're trying to figure that out. We talk to students, and some of them say they want text messages. Some of them say they want emails. Some of them say they want phone calls. So for us, really, the challenge is just making sure that we're getting our message out there and telling them the opportunities that we have across the college and really across the entire university.
Do you think the admission process will actually change in the future, and if so, how?
Well, I mean, we've seen those changes, right? Kean has gone SAT optional, like so many other colleges and universities, largely because of COVID. But quite honestly, we've learned that it benefits us to not have, for students that want to contribute, that they can. But we get more applications if we're not requiring students to take the SAT. So that's one way that it has changed. More and more students are also going to, there's a number of different plans of reaching out to students instead of waiting for them to apply. When we get identification of students who meet our admissions criteria, we can go to them directly and say, here's an opportunity for you. We see that you're in the area. We see that you're interested in communication or history or psychology programs that are really strong here at Kean. And we go to them instead of waiting for a student to submit an application and go through all that.
Definitely. So as someone that has is always dealing with students and faculty alike, what is one piece of professional advice that you would give to students?
Talk to your professors. I mean, I think that's the most important piece. The Kean faculty are here because they're committed to working with students. Our faculty are doing research, our faculty are doing service, but they are here primarily to teach. And that teaching, a lot of it takes place in the classroom, of course, but so much of it takes place outside of the classroom. And that's one thing that students don't realize. We think of, when you're in high school, if you had to go to see the teacher, you were probably in trouble. It's the opposite in college, where that's the opportunity to go and ask questions, to say, hey, I know we did this in class. I was too shy to raise my hand in class in front of everyone, but I have a question about this assignment that's coming up. Or could you help explain this concept that I think I have, but I just want to make sure that I have it understood. Faculty are available to students. They can be available online. They're available in their offices. And something that I tell children of friends of mine that are going off for college is take advantage of office hours. Take advantage of the faculty that are there to teach you and support you.
Okay, if I was to ask you for one small piece of advice, personal advice, that you can give students, what would it be?
Beyond professional, just personal style.
It has to do with turning your work. We've gotten more flexible with deadlines. I mean, I think one of the things that we learned from COVID, and it's certainly true here at Kean, where so many of our students are working in addition to going to school. They have family responsibilities. They're doing extracurricular activities. But we still need some structured deadline, right? So faculty, I think, have gotten much more comfortable with allowing flexibility, but it's keeping up with your work, because if you fall behind in one class and you're falling behind in other classes, it's going to get harder and harder to keep up. So to me, it's just having those time management skills, I think, are important, and keeping up with your work. But then also, and this relates back to what I said previously, when you do have a problem, you have an issue, something is going to be late, don't just ignore it. Talk to the faculty member, because they will invariably be like, sure, I can give you an extension, or sure, we can make an arrangement for you to make up this exam and something like that. And that's changed. It's changed in my own teaching. I go back and look at syllabi that I wrote 15 years ago, and it was like, I don't take late papers, and you have to take the final on the day that it's assigned, and that fit who I was then, and it fit kind of slightly different students, but I think we've learned a lot that students need that flexibility, and they're not taking advantage of it. They're not trying to get one over on you. It's just that student lives are complicated.
Yeah, and I definitely think that ties back to your previous answer, where reaching out and keeping in touch, building that relationship with professors is definitely vital, for the student.
Extremely important.
What is one lesson you believe you've learned in life today that you wish you knew when you were in college?
Man, it's college is such an amazing time. It's get involved. I wish I had done. You will never have an opportunity again, like you have in college, to learn new things, to be around other smart people who are interested in the same kinds of questions and issues that you're interested in. And so take advantage of that. Take electives that are in areas that are of interest to you. It's hard to teach yourself art history, but if you take an art history class, then you will feel so much smarter and enjoy a museum experience so much better, right?
Definitely.
Go to the speakers, go to musical performances, go to events that are on campus and attend that stuff. We just had a gallery opening over in our LHAC building, and I was talking to some students afterwards, and I asked one, why were you here? And she was like, well, one of my suite mates said that she was coming, and it sounded kind of cool, and so I just came. It's like I didn't know about it. I didn't know I was interested in it. I didn't even know there was going to be food, but hey, there's even food here. But they were like, this art was amazing, and it was made them think about some environmental issues and sustainability issues, and so those kinds of things are so special, and you really only get that college time to do that in that way.
And can you give a little more content on that? Why do you think the little piece of advice could have made a big impact on you in college?
I think you just get to experience more, and college is about making a larger world, right? Kean is going to be significantly larger than any high school any of our students ever went to. We have more class offerings, we have more technology, we have more speakers coming in and events, performances, and so you never know what you might find yourself interested in until you go and take a class in it, you go to a speaker in it, or some kind of event. And so for me, I think that's really important.
That actually brings up a good point. I've been meaning to ask you, what was your process of admissions to college, and how has that changed between your college and Kean?
Yeah, well, and I'm thinking about this too because my son's a high school senior, so
he's going through the process right now.
He's going through it now, and we're waiting to hear back from the schools that he's applied to, right? And so it's stressful. I applied to fewer schools. I was fortunate to have a high school guidance counselor who made some recommendations based on what she knew my interests were and what my strengths were to guide me to the University of Richmond, which is where I went for my undergraduate. I know a lot of students today are applying to more colleges, and it's more competitive. I mean, back when I went to school, we won't give the year, but back when I was applying, there were fewer students that were just applying, and it was more students who looked like me, right? It was mostly students who looked like me. So that diversity is a different part of the process, and that belonging. One of the things that I've tried to emphasize to students, to faculty, to staff here at Kean is how important creating a sense of belonging, so students feel comfortable on campus, feel comfortable speaking in their classes, feel comfortable going to events and doing all the kinds of things that we've tried to do. And so just, diversity is Kean's strength. It's something that's apparent from the moment you step on our campus. And when I have the opportunity to visit other colleges and universities, none of them are as diverse as Kean, and it stands out. It's easy to take it for granted when this is the only place that you see. So to me, that I think is probably the biggest difference. Yeah.
I definitely agree with you. And moving on to something the audience is always excited for, can you tell us some of the different events that will be happening over the next few months, and what roles do they play in the admission process for students? So I know you mentioned an open house.
Yeah, so there's open house on Saturday, March 25th. I don't know when this airs, but Saturday, March 25th, there's an open house here on campus, an opportunity to hear from me if you're interested in one of the majors in the College of Liberal Arts, or my other dean colleagues in their areas will be here. Opportunity to hear from our senior academic leadership, to learn about the financial aid process, to learn about housing, all of those kinds of things. We have an event that we call Dinner with the Deans for accepted students. So students, Kean is on rolling admissions, so we're rolling out our acceptances just as fast as we can get them. So there's an opportunity later in April to come to another special event that'll just focus on the College of Liberal Arts. You'll hear from me probably say some of these same things, but I have some new material too. And meet with some other students, meet with some current students and some alum, and get them to share their experience and get a little bit more detail about what it is that you're doing. And then we have our commit, I think it's called Commit to Climb Higher. The admissions people can email in and correct me. But that's on April 30th. So National Decision Day is May 1st. That's when students are expected to submit their deposits and tell all of the schools where they're going. And so the day before that, we just have a big, it's basically a big pep rally. Like I said at the beginning, this whole place exists to educate students. We do a lot of other things in order to fulfill that mission, but ultimately it's to educate students. And so it's always exciting when we see students who are excited to be Kean Cougars starting with us in September.
Yeah, definitely.
So let me ask you, what would you say is your favorite part of your position?
This is a great job. I mean, higher education is a great job. The energy that exists on a college campus is really unique. The students bring that energy. So to me, it's getting to meet with students and talk to students and see them succeed. You know, I was reading something about higher ed that talked about how important it is to be able to fail. And that college, maybe it's something I should have brought up earlier, but about how college is an opportunity to fail, right? I mean, and that will sound weird, and it still doesn't make necessarily me comfortable, but none of us were perfect at this when we did it, right? I didn't have straight A's, and you know, and so that piece I think is so valuable. And so seeing a student who's overcoming challenges, whether it's coming up with a concept or a class that they had to retake, or they had a medical issue or a life issue and they had to step out of Kean for a semester, helping them get back, and then the best day of the year is commencement, and shaking hands, getting hugs from students who want to give me hugs as they walk across that stage is just a great feeling.
Yeah, great end goal. Well, don't go anywhere. We have a few more questions for you after this break.
Sure.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Welcome back, and we will get right back into the questions.
So I have two questions for you, Mr. Dean. First off, what has been your toughest challenge working at Kean? And secondly, what do you think is the best part about Kean?
Some deep questions.
Tough one, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, I mean, one of the toughest challenges for working at Kean is not unique to Kean. It's just the changing environment for higher education, right? Where, and especially in the liberal arts, where there's a lot of people who are like, what am I going to do as a career with my liberal arts degree, right? And our career outcomes are outstanding. Students that major in liberal arts and humanities areas are making the same as business majors are 10 years after graduation. But that's one, is pushing them back against all of that kind of public headwind that talks about the humanities and the utility of the humanities compared to business or the STEM fields. And those are great. I'm not telling people that they shouldn't do those if they're interested in them. But if you're interested in English, if you're interested in history, if you're interested in psychology, if you're interested in dance or fine arts, you will absolutely be able to succeed with those majors just as you would with another area. And the best part is again, I think, as I mentioned, is the energy you get on a college campus, right? The faculty are excited to be here and work with students. The students are here and excited to learn, and we're all bringing our challenges, but ultimately in this environment, we're able to learn, we're able to succeed, we support each other, we pull each other along.
Definitely. How much of school spirit do you believe Kean has compared to other universities?
I think that's one area that he's not new anymore, he's been here for 2.5 years, but President Repollet has really inspired. He's invested in the athletic programs, and I think that's not the part of the college experience for everyone, but that's one that a lot of people want to have. I think just the way that our social media works and the branding, we see the Kean Cougar around, we talk about the expanded paw print, that Cougars Climb Higher hashtag is everywhere. And so for me, I think we've seen a real increase in that Kean spirit, in that idea, largely because of what the president has been trying to do.
And even, I mean, you mentioned social media, even like incorporating the mascot and having a name for him and having him come to all these events, I feel like has been a huge part in kind of boosting like school morale as well.
Absolutely.
So I have a special question for you. It comes from somebody from the audience. They actually gave it to me on a piece of paper. You mind if I read it to you?
Go ahead.
Well, let's give it a try, everybody. I have heard you're a big Star Wars fan.
Oh,
whoa, wait a minute. What is Baby Yoda's real name?
Grogu.
Oh,
you sure?
gosh.
I'm sure.
You positive?
I'm positive.
He's right.
And
Yes.
look, since we're doing this, I just want to note that I'm wearing my Millennium Falcon cufflinks.
Oh
So
my God.
I didn't know the question was coming. I was doing it because I have to lead a meeting
I do
later,
have to-
and I need to feel like that
You need
Han
to
Solo
have it,
energy.
yeah.
So, But I was wearing my cufflinks
Now I'm
today.
going to give you a really big smile because I have a service dog in the audience out there, and she has a baby Yoda on her jacket. So before you leave, we definitely got to show you the Yoda and let you
Okay.
get a good
Yes.
petting there.
And don't spoil me because I didn't see the latest Mandalorian episode last night. So I'm one episode behind.
Well,
Awesome.
this just truly sums up what Kean
Kate is all about.
is
We
all
all
about.
have kind of like
And we
school
want to
spirit.
say, first and foremost, for myself, thank you for being on the show. It's a true honor to have met you a second time and to learn so much about the admissions process as well as yourself. It is truly an honor, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today and interviewing, us interviewing you. And I mean, I would go to Kean if I wasn't already a student. So
I'm glad-
I believe the audience would too.
Well, I'm glad you're already a student, but I really enjoyed it. I was excited when you all invited me to come, and this is a great way to work, another way for me to work with students and get to interact with you all. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.